One dark night, the adventurous young man Samar decided to drive his truck through a remote road that passed by a deserted mountain. The sky was overcast, and the wind was blowing through the trees on both sides of the road. Samar was walking alone, hearing only the sound of his truck's engine and the noise of the storm that made the place even more terrifying. The road was empty of cars, and the further he went, the darker it became around him. At one of the narrow turns, he felt something strange, as if his eyes were flashing in the dark. He stopped suddenly, and opened the truck window to get some air. At that moment, he heard footsteps on the ground, heavy footsteps approaching him. He turned his head, and saw no one. But he felt something strange in the air, as if someone was watching him. He resumed walking, but other footsteps began to follow the truck from behind, their speed increasing as the engine speed increased. In the darkness, a woman with long black hair and red eyes appeared to him, wearing a white dress that shone in the dark. She was walking barefoot, and when she approached the truck, she stopped. She looked at Samar with a scary look and whispered, "You won't get out of here." Samar tried to pass her, but the more he pressed the gas pedal, the faster her steps became, until she stood next to the truck. She felt something strange, as if gravity was getting heavier, and the truck was about to stop. When he looked at her through the side mirror, he discovered that her feet were not touching the ground, but rather her body was floating above the road. Samar's heart was beating fast, and he tried to escape, but the road ahead of him became narrower. With every attempt to escape, the road became narrower and narrower. He felt as if the ground was pulling the truck inward. Suddenly, the woman disappeared, and the place was completely silent. But in an instant, the silence turned into a terrible noise, as if the ground had exploded. Samar heard a loud roaring sound fill the place, and the wind blew with great force, as if it wanted to push the truck into the abyss. The wind speed increased, and the trees on both sides of the road began to fall, as if they were fighting the truck. Finally, Samar felt as if the road had swallowed the truck, and it suddenly stopped. His heart was pounding, his eyes racing against the darkness. He saw a dark gap in front of him, and as he approached it, he felt something heavy trying to pull the truck down. He stopped suddenly, and everything around him was silent. At that moment, the woman appeared again, took a step towards the truck, and then said in a low voice, "You're too late, and now there's no escape from death." But just as she was about to reach him, she suddenly disappeared, leaving the truck to rest in its place. Samar woke up from a semi-comatose state, and discovered that he had reached the end of the road, where the small lamps of the village were lit up. He felt as if death was chasing him, but he didn't know how he got here. Since that night, Samar didn't dare to return to that road, and kept that terrifying memory that almost took his life.